Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Tips from My Garage. My name is Lisiate Tonga. I am a recovering addict. I am an author, a business owner. I'm the father of two beautiful boys and the husband to a beautiful wife. And I live in Melbourne, Australia. And today I wanted to talk to you guys about the concept of ready, fire, aim. I'm not sure if you have heard of this concept before. It's different to ready, aim, fire, which is what most of us are accustomed to. And the process of that is getting yourself ready, taking the aim before taking the shot. However, the concept of ready, fire, aim is the opposite of that, which is you ready yourself, you take the shot, and then you aim. And the reason I wanted to discuss this particular concept is because of how many people there are out in this world right now who are stuck in limbo and cannot make a decision. And as a result, they can't move forward, they can't progress, they can't move on with their life. They are stagnant. They are can be they can be full of anxiety as a result because they may have promised themselves that they're going to do this and do that and then they haven't done it. And so I wanted to talk about all of these different things that have to do with why people don't make a decision, why they are stuck in limbo because they can't make up their mind, or they don't they won't make a decision. And the whole purpose of this episode is really to get people unstuck and to get them moving off the spot that they've been stuck on and moving forward. There are a few examples of this that I might discuss in a little bit more detail, but I wanted to share with you a few examples of where this is relevant, a few different areas. One of them would be in business. The other could be in lifestyle, in career path, and also in just your personal life. And what I want to discuss is how people get to a point where they know they want to do something, they want to start something, they want to start a business, they want to write a book, they want to get married and have children, they want to start a new career path, or they want to change something specifically within themselves or their lifestyle so that it will be on a better path than what it currently is. And so I'm going to be drawing from my own experiences in these particular areas, but it's this whole concept of ready, fire, aim is not just about these particular areas or aspects of life. It's not limited to them. You can apply them to whatever you're stuck ruminating on, whatever thing it is that you're hung up on. You can apply this to that. If you're somebody that sits around and asks yourself why you haven't done anything yet, or you beat yourself up because you haven't done anything yet, or you sit on something, or you continually tell yourself, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this today, I'm going to do this tomorrow, or I'm going to start doing this, which then blows out to one day I'm going to do this, or one day I'm going to do that. And then that just fizzles into nothing. And as a result, you come up in a worse headspace because of that, because you haven't kept the promises that you've made to yourself. You've made these commitments and you haven't kept the commitments. And even though you may have not told anyone about it, it still affects you in some sort of way, in a negative way, because in the back of your head you're saying to yourself, I'm not ready for this, or I can't do this, or I'm not good enough, or whatever the case may be. Well, I think I first applied this concept when I was in high school. And there was a particular movie that I watched, and I believe that this movie was the start of a lot of things that went different for me in my life. And to be honest, I don't know what trajectory I would have been on if I hadn't have watched this movie and taking it to heart and then applying it into my life. So the movie I want to talk to you about, I want to reference, is actually called Dead Poets Society, and that's the one with Robin Williams. And I don't know if you have watched this movie or not. It's an old classic. When I was in high school and I first watched this movie, it really moved me. It resonated with me. There was a society of poets, and what they would do is they would escape together and they would recite lines from poets that have been and gone, and just sort of internalized their words and made it a part of who they were. And one of the concepts, or one of the things that they harped on, or one of the points that the movie wanted to make, was to suck the marrow out of life. And that phrase, meaning to make the most of the opportunities you have. Carpe diem, which is Latin for seize the moment or seize the day. And I think that that was the main point of the movie, was to teach us that every one of us should, we are not going to be here forever. And because we're not going to be here forever, and because tomorrow is not even promised to us, we don't have unlimited time on this earth. We don't have forever to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish. And because we don't have infinite time, we must take advantage of the time that we do have. Otherwise, our lives become just an existence, and we pass this world into the next without having done anything significant for ourselves, but also for society or for the world. And so we don't want to get to the end of our life and have all of these regrets that we didn't take the shot, or that we didn't take the chance to do the things that we've always wanted to do, but just never did it because we were hesitant, and we were undecided. And I feel like there's so many of us that are in this place where we have these grand plans of what we want to do with our lives, and we just we sit on them. We don't realize them because they're just thoughts in our head. We don't put any action towards them. We sit on them. We dream about them. We daydream about them. We even talk to people about them, but we don't move a finger. We don't take any action towards doing any of these things. And so the movie was an absolute must, in my opinion, for for people who want to be motivated or inspired to take advantage of the moment, or to take advantage, to seize the day, to make the most of the opportunities that you may have, or to make the most of your life today by creating those opportunities that aren't there. You don't necessarily have to have an opportunity waiting for you. We in a lot of cases, in most cases, we will need to go out and create those opportunities. We can't just sit on our hands and wait for things to happen. We can't wait for opportunities to fall in our lap. I've heard the phrase once that luck is where opportunity meets persistence. No, sorry. Opportunity meets preparation. And that's really to say that luck isn't really something that falls out of the sky, although it can be something that does do that, and some people do get lucky. That's relying on luck is not a strategy. It's not a good strategy for life. But luck is more us preparing ourselves on a daily basis, working towards our goal, and then when an opportunity presents itself, we are prepared and ready to take advantage of it. On the other hand, you can see that if there is no preparation, if you don't do anything about it, an opportunity then presents itself. You're unprepared, and you may not even be able to take advantage of the opportunity or even recognize that it's an opportunity because there hasn't been any preparation done for that. Seizing the day and making the most of the moments that we do have here means going out there and grabbing life by the bullhorns and and manhandling it in a way that you can move things into your direction, as opposed to just sitting on your hands and waiting for something to happen. So I guess the first thing that happened for me was that I watched that movie, and that message, Carpe Diem, seize the moment, suck the marrow out of life, that really stayed with me. That resonated with me. It impacted me in a big way when that happened. And I remember at the time I had a crush on a girl, and this girl had to have been one of the most beautiful girls in the school that I was going to. And I just remember there being a moment where I was afraid to go up and talk to her, or I was very hesitant to do anything about it. I didn't even tell anyone about it. I kind of just kept that to myself. You know how you just have a crush on somebody sometimes, and but that's not something that you verbalize to anybody. You don't speak about it to anybody. And so that was something I just kept to myself. But after watching that movie, what I did do was I wrote a poem, and I went up to her and I gave her the poem. And that was it. Nothing even came of it. She didn't call me, she didn't nothing. It was just kind of like, I think it was just kind of oh, thanks, that's very nice. Which is sort of translation for, this is a nice gesture, I appreciate that, but it's just kind of like her being considerate. However, to me, that broke a lot of barriers that I had in my brain. I actually didn't even care about the response afterwards, because to me, I had done the thing that I didn't want to do. And it took a lot of courage for me to first of all, write the poem that I had. I thought it was a pretty good poem. It took a lot of nerve for me to be able to go up to one of the most beautiful girls in my school, and and tell her what I thought of her in a poetic way, and then get rejected. And then knowing that, there may have been a rejection in there, I didn't really care afterwards. I think for me, there was a moment there where I really felt like I was alive, because it almost felt like I was putting my life in my own hands, so to speak. I mean, I'm just a young teenager, raging hormones and all of this, and I still, like I wanted to be, I wanted her to like me, and I wanted her to do, to respond in a like manner, but that never eventuated. But it didn't even matter to me. Like I I I took the shot. And that was the most important thing to me. And then after that, life really changed for me, because after that I believed that I could take any shot that I wanted to take, and whatever the outcome was, it still meant that I was living. I wasn't just existing. I wasn't allowing my fear to take control of me, and to 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 bound me, so that I wouldn't make a move. I felt like there was going to be more pain for me if I didn't do it than if I did do it. And I believe that to be true today. And I believe that's true for all of us humans, is that we can get to the end of our lives, and if we have done the best that we possibly could, and we know it, and we still didn't get the best results out of everything, at least we know that we have put our best foot forward in life, and we can have peace. We can we can be satisfied. Where conversely, if we get to the end of our lives and we are wondering, whether we could have done better, or whether we should have made better decisions than what we did, and that we didn't take advantage of opportunities, or we didn't even lift our finger to try different things. I wonder how many people are in their deathbed right now at this moment, regretting the life that they lived, because they did not make the most of it, because they did not take chances, because they did not take shots, because they were too afraid of rejection. They were too afraid of what other people would think of them. They were too afraid of the unknown. They were too afraid of not knowing where they could be if they made a different choice, or went down a different path. They were more okay with their lives as it is, or as it were, or as it was, even if it was a mediocre, or an average, or below average life. That was still something that, that life was more comfortable for them, because they knew what was going on. They knew that was a life that they knew. They had a history with it. They had lived it for years. It is something that they are well practiced in, well versed in. It's what they know. And because it's what they know, they've been comfortable in it their whole lives. And there was never a any ambition, there was no motivation to branch out, or to step out of their comfort zones, to try something new. But because of that situation of, giving the poem to the girl that I really liked, and because it took a lot out of me to be able to do it, and I was able to overcome that. As a result of that, I was able to take many different shots afterwards. Just to name a few of these, one of them was writing a book. I never thought that I would ever write a book. I spoke about this in my first episode, how I've actually written two books. I've only got one of those books published, and it's only an ebook on Amazon called Q&A Between Two Addicts. There was a moment there where I thought, the audacity of me, just who am I to think that I had something good enough to write? And I wonder if that is something that other people might think of me as well, that who is he to think that he can write? But I still did it anyways. And after writing my first book, which is called Serving Two Masters, which is still only in a manuscript form, I mean, it's not even published. And I still have a whole manuscript, and it took me, I don't know if it took me, I know that it took me months. I'm not sure if it was a year or more than a year that it took me to write it. But that book changed me because I did something that I never thought that I would ever do. And especially because it was so personal, it did things to me. And I feel like every time that you do something that you fear, that you know that you should do, it changes you. But it changes you in a good way because it builds up your resilience. It builds up your motivation and your stamina to be able to do it again, because there are going to be things throughout your life that you'll want to take more risks for, that are worth taking a risk for. And after writing the books, I decided to start a business, and those sort of things just came. It wasn't like I sat there and ruminated over whether that was something that I should do. I just went ready, fire, aim. I didn't know how it was going to go or where I was going to end up. But those things really didn't matter. The most important thing to me was that I took the shot, that I started something, because I knew that I wasn't going to be perfect at it straight away. And that was something I was going to have to build to. That's something that I'm going to have to work towards. And so, because I knew I wasn't going to be perfect, I wasn't expecting perfection off of the bat. I was just expecting a start point, and to see where I could go from there. And if I'm quite frank with you, my business is still, it's very, very slow right now for me. And it's a lot of it's probably to do with the way that I'm doing my marketing, or lack of experience in online marketing, in online businesses, in growing a platform, those sort of things. But it doesn't deter me from what I'm doing, because my purpose is strong enough that I know that this is something that is truly important and is beneficial to, and it will be beneficial to millions of people. So that's not something that I get hung up on, and I don't sit and dwell on those things. I just look at it as it's just a work in progress, and I just need to keep grinding. I think that there's a few other things here. Getting married, I mean, that's a whole story on its own. I might leave that for a different episode. But building a new career path, these are things that people sit on. They don't take advantage of them, because, or they don't move from what they know, even though people could be sick of what they're doing. I wonder how many people, what the percentage of people actually hate what they're doing, but only do it because they have to, because it's an income, and also because even though it's not what they truly want to do, it's safer for them, because they don't have to go out and risk changing the direction of their career. and the unknown. I mean, what if I don't make more money doing this other thing? What if I don't like what this other thing is that I'm doing? And so I think that that is something that people on a daily basis jostle with. Their current lifestyle and how bad that is, but whether it's still better than what the risking something in the unknown is, even if the unknown could be 10 times 20 times better than what they're currently doing. And I think also changing of lifestyle is another area where people could get the benefit out of the concept of ready fire aim. Ready fire aim you could also interpret as a leap of faith. It's just taking a chance on something. If nothing can be worse than where you're currently at, then changing the direction, even though you don't know what's going to happen, to see if it can be better than where you're at, is an absolutely the biggest reason why you should just take the shot, where you should just ready yourself, fire and aim, and just hope that you can be better than hope that it's a better path than what you're currently doing. And so I think that there are two big reasons why people are stuck in limbo and won't make a decision. And the first one is the fear of the unknown. They are so comfortable with where they are. They are familiar with where they are. They they don't want to change that because they don't want to go into the world or to somewhere on another path where they don't know what's going to happen. They don't know the people, they don't know the direction, they don't know the environment, they don't know anything about it. And so you will even have people in relationships that they know are bad for them, but they won't leave the relationship because it's better the devil you know than the devil you don't know. And so people really will stay with in a toxic relationship rather than make a decision to just up and leave because it is the devil that they know, because they are comfortable with it. And I know that people. You might be one of these people that do that, but you might be one of those people that know somebody like that and have also tried to be the voice of reason for people like that. And isn't it interesting though that no matter how much sense you could make to them, they still don't actually move from that because they are too fearful of the unknown. They're too scared of what they don't know. And the other reason for that, uh, why people are stuck in limbo, is because they're perfectionists. They want to see all their ducks lined in a row first. They want to have all their stars aligned. Their plan is this has to be done perfectly. This has to be in place. This has to be in place, and this has to be in place in order for me to then make to take the chance. The truth is that nothing really can be perfect before you take an opportunity. I'll use this as an example. Some people will when they try to find the right person to get married, they need to make sure that this person ticks off all of the boxes, right? They have to be financially secure. They need to be this, they need to be that, they need to be this in order for you to make the call that this is the right person, rather than just looking at this and saying, okay, instead of there just being a few things, like the most important things: do we share the same values? Do we have a connection? Are we attracted to each other? And are we moving in the same direction? And then just taking the shot, and then allowing yourself to be able to go through all the growing pains and the things that come with building a relationship and building a family as they come. if you go into a relationship and everything has to be absolutely perfect and you go through absolutely no struggles together and you get into a marriage, what actually happens if something does happen? Have you been able to see each other deal with different challenges and trials? And then the real person shows up, and then that might be something that was unexpected and something you may have thought to yourself, well, I didn't sign up for that. But you shouldn't be scared of things like marriage or having children. That's not people might say, oh, I'm afraid that what if this doesn't work out, and then we have to go through a divorce, and that's such a drawn out process, and there's a lot of resources involved, a lot of heartache. I just don't want to go through that. Or what about bringing children into this world? What if I'm not what if I'm not a good parent, or what if they're not a good kid, or what if the kid has something. Those are all things that reasons that have actually prevented people from being able to take that step. And they're all really hypothetical things, like issues that they've set up in their own head to kind of prevent them from taking a risk. And I know that internally we have this thing in our brain that tries to prevent us from hurt, that tries to prevent us from heartache. And it's a risk assessor, but at the end of the day, we're not boats in a harbor. That's not boats in a harbor. That's not what boats are built for. Boats are built to be out on the open sea. You're gonna take a risk on sinking the ship, or bad weather, or starvation, or all these other things. But you know what? A ship in a harbor is safe, but that's not what ships were built for. We were put on this earth to become the most that we possibly can, to fulfill our potential, to live and not exist. We want to suck the marrow out of life. We want to get the most out of it. We want to create what we can create with what we have been blessed with, or what we're skilled at. We want to go through hard times. We want to go through amazing times. You can't truly experience joy in its fullest if you haven't been able to suffer in sorrow. Life is all about experiences, whatever those experiences may be. And the more experiences that we have, the more opportunities we have to take risks, the more risks that we take, the more fulfilled our life will be. And so don't get yourself stuck if you're a perfectionist. If you're somebody that has to really wait till everything is perfectly in line before you take the shot, you're wasting your time. Don't do that. Take the shot. Take the shot and correct yourself as you go along. The difference is like when you take the shot, you're at least going to be somewhere else. If you move from this place to this place, even if this place here that you've then moved to is not the place that you want to be, it is still a different perspective than what you had when you were still in the same place. You can't change your perspective if you stay still. You can only change your perspective if you move. You need to move, because then you have a different view from this point here. And then you can correct your course. Okay, I'm off course a little bit. I need to move over here. And then from this perspective, you have another perspective. You've been here now, you've moved from here, you moved to here. Now you have more knowledge to make better decisions to get to where you want to go. But you can't have another perspective until you move. And so my advice would be, if you're one of those people that is stuck in limbo and won't make a decision because you think you're too scared, or you need to get all your ducks lined up first, my advice to you is to take the shot and then just roll with the punches. Correct yourself as you go along. Take the shot, end up somewhere else, look at where you're at, and then course correct. And that's how you're going to move in a better direction. That's how you're going to progress. That's how you're going to grow. You need to accumulate a different experiences. You need to overcome different challenges to build up your own confidence and your own motivation to become the best version of you that you can become. There is one other thing that I wanted to share with you, and that is a book. And this book has been a real help to me as well. And it's called "Feel the Fear and Do It Anyways." And it's by an author called Susan Jeffers. And I think that really sums it up: feeling the fear and doing it anyway. You're gonna I'm not gonna sit here and say you're not gonna be scared. You're gonna be scared. I'm scared when I do things that I don't want to do. But you just roll with the punches. You just feel the fear and then you do it anyways. I've been a public speaker for a long time, and even before I go in front of the audience, I'm still scared. I still feel scared, but I still do it anyways. And as a result, I'm better for it. It builds me up, and it makes me feel alive. And so I constantly test myself to make sure that I'm still alive, just to check my temperature, just to check my vitals, to make sure that they're still working. Whenever there's something risky that I'm doing, I always get the jitters. But when I get the jitters, I know that it's something that I'm supposed to be doing, because I know that it makes me feel alive. It's exhilarating. My heart races and pumps. It goes all over the place, but it does make me feel like I'm alive. And it does make me feel, and when I'm done doing it, regardless of what the result was, I feel like I've put just a little bit more in my tank of resilience, and a little bit more in my tank for confidence and momentum. So I hope you guys got something out of this. Give me some feedback if you have any about what I've said or what you've learned. I'd love to hear from you guys, to see if I'm if these are things that you enjoy hearing me talk about, and if so, let me know what things you like about it. Also, tell me what you didn't like about it. I like to hear both sides of the coin. I'm only going to get better if I know what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong. Thanks so much, and have a good day, everyone, and I'll see you next time.
1, 2,